Welcome back to the show. Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby, joined by Mark Murphy, your local boomer, bringing perspective, bringing questions to your city council candidates. These are folks that are going to represent you, represent me, our families, for a long time to come. Decisions that they make, decisions that were made 10 years ago are still impacting you today. So we want to make sure that the people that we select represent your values. This is your decision, folks, nobody else. You know, I get it. If you're married, sometimes your spouse will say, you vote for them and I'll vote for them. And maybe, but you guys talk about it. This is your vote. People have died to make sure you had the freedom to go to the polls. Long history of that in our country. Liberty, more important than you'll ever know. And that's what we're talking about here on your place for News, Talk, and Information. City Council Candidate Forum, Total Financial Solutions, teamed up with KHTS as we're bringing 3 hours of programming, about 2 hours left or so, hour and a half left, as we talk about your family's finances when it comes to the impact in Santa Clarita, maybe other issues that you have. And joining us is Mrs. Laurene West. Mayor Laurene West, I think, is the official...
That is the official title
term
for now. Yep.
Yes. Well, tell me about your choice to run again. How long have you been on City Council?
I've been on since 1998 and been very proud and very blessed to serve.
Wow. So 1998, how long have you lived in this valley?
Late 60s.
Okay, so a long time.
Long time.
That's 45, 46, 47 years, because that's about my age. All right, we're talking
okay.
Yeah, just a bit. Some of the decisions that you guys have made in City Council, sometimes you've been on the right side of those decisions as far as the ones that were approved. Sometimes you're on the other side of them. But there are tough decisions that are made, whether it be through City Council in your personal life and in business and other things that you've done. Give me an example of a tough decision you've had to make that you've looked at and you say, look, there are two right answers. What is that decision? Give me a process.
I can remember when we didn't have the Cross Valley Connector, and we desperately needed roads. We were just completely bogged down in traffic. Every time there was a snarl on one of the freeways, we turned into a parking lot inside Santa Clarita. Emergency vehicles couldn't move. Sheriffs couldn't get around. They were using literally residential streets to move traffic. It was frightening. Every time there was a disaster, we shut down. I actually wrote the agenda item for Cross Valley Connector, and it was a tremendous challenge. It was going from the 14 to the 5, and it was a very expensive route because, as you know, we cross railroad tracks and rivers and hills and through communities, and it was a narrow thread. There was very little movement, inability to flex where the road could go, so you had to meet the challenges. And I pushed hard. A lot of people, literally hundreds of people, said, can't be built, can't be done, too expensive. People thought it might be very life-changing for the valley, and it has been life-changing for the valley. It's eased our traffic. Emergency vehicles now can get to the hospital and back and forth. It has been an extremely positive connection for Santa Clarita.
Did you have to use eminent domain? Did you have to take anybody's personal property in that decision?
I don't believe so. Well, we did. We did have one developer that didn't. Well, they wanted to sell. They just wanted to sell at a higher price.
Sometimes.
Laurene, you also have a phenomenal background in the environmental side. What's your passion there? Why have you done so much in the area of parks?
Because in the 60s and earlier before, this was a very untouched valley. It was sort of lost and separated from the rest of the world. We were carrot and onion fields and hills and mountains and streams, and you had cattle grazing, and so I rode my horses, and I loved every inch of it. So I have been determined to see us retain the best of what we have. It was going to develop. It had a master plan community on one side, which is still gorgeous, and I wanted to have us preserve as much as possible. So I did get the trail system, which is now 74 miles of master plan trails through both the county system and the city system, and we have built it. It was also another thing that couldn't be done. And it's beautiful, and it interconnects now into our open space, which I also chaired and worked on bringing forth and getting adopted, was the Open Space District for Santa Clarita. So between those two things and a lot of work on protecting wildlife through initiatives and creating Santa Clarita Woodlands Park and working with the conservancies, we have saved some of the very best of Santa Clarita, and we're still doing it.
So, wow. Laurene, we're talking to Laurene West, City Council candidate here, current mayor of the city of Santa Clarita. some of the areas that we have seen develop, of course, downtown Newhall, some of the other areas that we have seen up through the city of Santa Clarita where there's been a push through emerging areas like the west side over in Valencia and around Magic Mountain, and those are going to be all developing. But sometimes there are business owners that feel like they're not being listened to, or that they have to change the color one shade blue, or a little away from this. Or what are some of the things that you think we can be a little bit softer on, or even a lot softer on, when it comes to some of the business owners that are here in either the continuing developing areas in Newhall? Because we're getting some of that feedback. So I want your thought. What are some of the things we can do a little bit better?
I think to be an entrepreneur and have a business is just great courage. and I've been there. We do have One Stop. We do have staff people, if they will call and go in, that can help guide businesses right from the get-go in what they're going to need. And it's important, I think, they ask first. Maybe we can promote that more, get people in. I don't know, it's a shade of blue, but there are certain restrictions for different development areas where actually that particular planned area requires you do certain things, whether it's at the mall or it's at in the industrial center. There's just certain things you can and can't do, and the city has to meet the criteria within the constraints of state law. But let us not say we can't do better. We can always do better. And we want business to succeed. And the very strongest reason is that the city gets a majority of its revenue from sales tax. And because we have successful business, because they're hiring people, because we have the best, highest numbers for keeping jobs and business in our community. So we want to do better. We always want to do better, because the better business does and the better the community does with that, the better the city does overall, which again turns back into those programs, those thousands of programs that take care of our youth and our seniors and our families.
Yeah.
As a veteran, I'm thankful for many of the things that have happened here. You've been involved. I've run into you a few places along the way, like over near Hart Park. And
oh, yes, we
Veterans Plaza.
We have a community. We love our veterans, and I worked judiciously to bring the Veterans Historical Plaza and have our veterans recognized. And I've seen literally some of our returning soldiers break down and cry about they were so happy to be honored, and working on doing more of that.
So some of the issues, though, veterans are very focused in the city. We're a huge percentage. Mm-hmm. There are other people that just go to work every day. I'd say that outer circle of people that have the neighbors that are their friends, they play baseball or soccer, and that's really their focus, is their local community. What is one thing that you think City Hall can do better to serve, I don't know, a few years ago they called them soccer moms. I don't know what we're going to call them in the next election, but the folks that just go to work, they're middle-class folks doing their best. What is something that City Hall can do?
Well, there's several things we're doing because our community always wants a little bit more. We're working with the Committee on Aging to produce a brand new, improved, expanded senior center facility which is, the old one's outdated. It's no longer usable, and
Are we looking in the same area next to the Hart?
No,
okay.
We're looking at a new, much larger area, more acreage, more facility, better planned, and something that will last for 30 to 50 years. The old one's completely outdated. And we're looking at a new Saugus library, which is critical for Saugus, which is underserved in that area. And we're also working on the master planning for a Canyon Country Community Center of its own with all the facilities.
As we finish up this hour of this segment of the program, you're listening to Miss Laurene West, Mayor Laurene West, current City Council candidate, running to serve you. Mayor West, as we finish up, can you give me just 10 seconds, 20 seconds of what it is that you think you would do differently, better, more of in the next term that you didn't do in this last term?
Well, we live in one of the greatest cities in the United States, one of the 100 best places, one of the safest cities, one of the best job producing. Can we do more? Yeah, we're going to do more. I'm committed to keeping our business here, bringing more companies like Sunkist and Disney, and creating high value jobs, and working with our education system.
What do we do to create that? What is the city's role in that? What can the city do to create those jobs?
We support the Economic Development Corporation, which works with business, and we extend out the information. They love our valley. We're a highly educated workforce, and we need to keep our taxes down, our reserves up, and keep our community looking great, because that's what keeps money and business and jobs here in Santa Clarita.
Great place to live, City of Santa Clarita. Thank you, Ms. West, for coming in.
My pleasure.
Laurene West, folks, for City Council candidate here in your place for news, talk, and information. Total Financial Solutions Candidate Forum, along with KHTS, right here in your place for news, talk, and information. Your hometown station. Go to hometownstation.com, click on Listen Live. You get a little bit of information, kind of learn about us, and you can listen as you work throughout the day. We have another hour and a half of this. Stay tuned as we continue to explore and learn about the City Council candidates for your place, Santa Clarita. We'll be right back.